Nice set of lightweight market steers here to start out your market steer show today. All three of these steers obviously need a little bit more time on feed and put a little bit more condition on to hit that market ready stage. And so for me, it just comes down to some little things for me on how we're going to place them in that. The young ladies steer that I chose to lead off with here today, to me probably has the most muscle shape and expression when you study from about any angle. That steer, again, I'd like to really pull him down. He's playing to open him up in the center portion of his body. But again, I think with some more time and days on feed, that steer does that and really changes for that young lady. Young lady steer in second today. Probably to me, when you put your hands on it, maybe is he a touch more market ready than the steer ahead of him? Probably, maybe, I don't know. It gets really close for me. It gets really close for me, but a really good, useful kind of a practical steer that follows our steer at first, most liking this type in time. Young ladies steer here in third to round out the class. Lightest steer in the class again. Give that big steer some more days on feed, put some more condition on it, getting closer to that market ready point. I think it changes and moves on up ahead in the line.
First place in that class receiving a purple ribbon was Sophia Miracle. Second place receiving the blue was Jalen Reeves. And third place with the blue was April. Now we move on to our second class of market steers. Second with 6 entries in that class, ranging in weight from 1154 to 1222.
really good from about any angle. He's good at the ground. I really want to change him at the ground, though. When you set him in motion, he gets a little stiff on them pasterns, wants to pop them over every now and then. But he's also fighting a young man today, too. That could be part of it. But just something I'd like to change about that calf. But again, a really nice, useful kind of steer to start out the class. Young lady's black steer is going to be in second. I think follows our class winner most like in Type and Kind. He's really big and burly again up over his back, really opened up in the center portion of his body, really fluid and useful over when you set him in motion, excuse me. And what I just want to do is just give him a little extra more punch and pizzazz to get ahead of that silver steer here today. Young lady's Hereford appearing steer coming in third. Again, follows the two steers ahead of her most in Type and Kind at market readiness for me today. I want to fix him out of the top side of his shoulder, tie that neck into a little higher into the top side of his blade, and maybe give him a little more open and boldness when you pull him out of his hip when you set him behind him, but a really good kind of a calf. Young lady silver calf coming in fourth. Probably needs most days on feed yet when you study him. But again, a really useful kind of a calf that gives you a really good look from the side when the young lady gets him parked and set up. Two steers rounding out the class. Really need some more time on feed for me today. You give them another 30, 45 days on feed. I think that changes both those steers a lot and moves these calves up in class for both of these kids. Congratulations, all the exhibitors.
First place in that class receiving a purple ribbon was Stephen Barrett. Second place with the purple, Kelsey Hughes. Third place with the blue, Stella Mayberry. Fourth with the blue, Lydia Foose. Fifth place, Logan Greiner. And sixth place, Margaret Rengel. We'll now have your Class 3 market steers entering the ring. The range of weight from 1239 to 1284.
second class of market steers here, and there's a lot of give and take if you wanted to. If you wanted to flip-flop any of the pairs that I've got up here towards the front end of the class, I probably wouldn't argue too much with you. Young Man's Black Steer I chose to lead off with. I think to me is the show steer of the group, and with that I think just sorts himself to the top pretty easily. He's pretty good when you get your hands on him. He shows the most market readiness for me today. If I could really change that calf, I want to not make him quite so shallow in his flank and pull him apart right there in his flank. When you step in behind him, I want to give that steer a little bit more base width, but I think a pretty easy place for me to start the class. Young Man's Steer in second. Really nice steer, really practically built and useful kind of a steer. I just want to change that steer at the ground. He's getting a little long in his toe. I'd really like to change that about him, but like I said, a really useful kind of a practical, good make kind of a steer. Young Man's Baldy Calf in third. Again, just a really practical and useful built kind of an animal, but one that I think when you put your hands on him, it's how he sorts himself up above the other two and below him in class. And again, a few more days on feed, and I think that steer pushes that second place steer for placing as well. Again, the last two steers rounding out your class just need some more days on feed. I want to change their structure on both ends of the skeleton of both these steers. But again, doing a really nice job for both these kids. Congratulations.
First place in that class was Stephen Barrett with the purple. Second place, Grant McAllister. Third place, Michael Portree. Fourth, Logan Greiner. And fifth, Levi McDonald. Now entering the ring will be Class 4 market steers. We'll have 4 entries in this class, ranging from weights of 1312 to 1333. See one of them. They spent a lot of time preparing for this county fair, so give them a thanks for all their hard work.
class of market steers. I think the steer that I chose to lead off with, young lady, for lack of a better saying, I think you kind of brought a gun to a knife fight here in this class for sure. That steer, to me, he's by and far away the show steer of the group. When she gets him parked, that steer's pretty good from about any angle. If I could change that steer, I want to set him in. When I set him in motion, I want to give him a little bit more flex out of his hip, down into his hop, relax him into his rear pastures. But again, a pretty good, useful kind of a steer that puts a lot of good things together, balances up really easy for me from the side, and a pretty easy and useful way to start the class. We get down into a trio of steers here towards the bottom of the class that, again, they just run into a buzzsaw up there in that number 1 hole, but 3 steers that are really practical and useful, showing some nice cover and finish when you put your hands on them. All steers that are good at the ground, they're good on the move, and good looking enough. Again, they just run into one heck of a good show steer there in the first hole. Congratulations to all these exhibitors.
First place in that class with the purple, Sydney Rober. Second with the blue, Jackson Filer. Third with the blue, Caleb Urban. Fourth with the blue, Michael Horsley. Now moving into class 5 market steers. Steers ranging in weight from 1343 to 1382. you are an exhibitor for the Trowbridge class, Mary has asked that you get to the barn now to get preparation for your class. So, Trowbridge kids, get to the barn.
Another interesting class of market steers out here. Another interesting class of market steers out here, and again, I think there's a lot of give and take between the top pair, and then you start sorting back into the bottom pairs as well. And if you wanted to flip-flop them, I probably wouldn't argue too much against you. The young lady steer I chose to lead off with, I think just does so pretty handily to me in this class. Puts the most good together in one package. Really a good appearing steer from the side. You step in behind him, he's got enough muscle shape down his top and in through his twist. That's a really nice steer when you set him in motion as well. Does he get a little straight off the rear too? Sure. But when they're reaching this way, you're going to have to give, in my opinion, you have to give a little give and take to those kind of steers. They are reaching that point in their life where they are ready to go to kill, and they're not going to be as fluid and on the move with some. But I think they use the kind of a calf to start out the class. Young man's calf in second. One that I wasn't really sure what to do with, and I think he just follows our class winner most of the type and kind, and that's how he falls into that second hole. A really elegant appearing steer up to that front 1/3 of his body. He's long spined and big hipped and big footed in the ground as well. I just wanted to open him up in the center portion of his body, drop some more flank into him, fix him in that heart as well, but move him up ahead of that steer ahead of him. The pair of steers coming out third and fourth, probably at the most market ready condition when you set your hands on them. But I just want to change both of them on each end of their skeleton. This young man steer with a little bit of white on him. I want to change him out of his front shoulder down into his front knee. He gets a little straight for me there, wants to kind of buck over just ever so slightly, but really useful kind of steer that when you set your hands on him, I think has a lot of good about him. Young man steer here in fourth, probably arguably the biggest most muscle expression of any calf in the class, but with that comes some mobility issues. He gets a little bit too much set in his hop. I want to straight and even fix him out of his hip back into his tail head to move him any higher for me today. 3 steers to round out the class. Just need some more muscle expression, some more time on feet, give them some more market ready condition to move up. But 3 steers that again are very useful, practical, they're kind, sound on the move, and really kind of the kind of steers that we all need to be raising in the feedlot. Congratulations to you guys.
First place in that class for the purple was Sidney Rover. Second place, Stephen Barrett. Third place, Logan Hughes. Fourth place, Caleb Urban. Fifth place, Corbin Tanner. Sixth place, David Grindle. And seventh place, McKenna Cole. We'll now move into our final class of market steers. We'll have six steers ranging in weight from 1384 to 1425. After this class, we will recognize our rate of gain champions before we pick our overall grand champion market steer. We didn't get them recognized when they were in the ring, but both your champion rate and reserve champion rate of gain came from class 4. Your champion rate of gain will be Caleb Urban with the steer that gained 3.56, and your reserve is also in that class, Jackson Filer with 3.29. So at the conclusion of those classes, we'd like a trophy presentation for those two calves to come back to the ring and receive their trophies. So if Caleb and Jackson would come back to the ring after this class, we'll recognize you.
Another nice class here of heavyweight market steers to round out your market steer show here today. The young ladies steer I chose to lead off with the biggest outline, most eye-appealing steer to me in the class. One that I think once you get him parked and gets him set up, that steer really falls in together and paints a pretty nice picture from about any angle. The trouble I have with him is when you set him in motion. He wants to get up and he's top. He wants to get a little peak and then hit point junction. For me, I want to change that about him and maybe give him a little more overall punch to his ass to the center portion of his body. But again, a steer that bounces up and from an eye appeal standpoint and most good in one single package, I think he sorts himself to the top very easily. The challenge for me is getting into the second and third place cabs in this class, and the young man's camp that I chose to be second does so just on a market readiness condition standpoint for me, as where he sorts himself ahead of that steer in third. And then when you start to visually appraise this steer, he's big, he's burly, he's got some muscle shape and expression. You set your hands on him and he's really at that market ideal kind of point for me when you put your hands on him, and I really appreciate that about him. The young ladies steer in third, probably most likely follows our class winner and tight behind as far as a show steer standpoint. I just want to have more to that steer. Start at the ground, make him bigger footed, bigger bone. Then you work up. I want to give him more actual true muscle shape when you step in behind him, but a useful kind of a calf to fall into that third hole. 3 steers rounding out your class. Built a lot alike, and structurally I want to change some things on every one of these steers, but really useful, practical, really good feeling when you get your hands on them, kinds of steers that go out and make a lot of money for these exhibitors. Congratulations.
First place in that class, receiving the purple ribbon is Megan Hughes. Second place is the purple Blake McAllister. Third place, Miley Kohler. Fourth place, Garrett Filer. Fifth, Jolie Johnston. And sixth, Dylan Cole. Now going to award our Rated Gain champion. Champion Rated Gain sponsored by Stouter Cattle, Barry and Linda Stouter. And that goes to Caleb Urban with a cap to gain 3.56 pounds a day. So let's give Caleb a round of applause for the top rated gain. Jim Spicer Memorial with Phyllis Paulson, and that will be awarded to Jackson Filer with a cap gain of 3.29 pounds of weight.
We've just been given donuts if anyone wants some.
Market steer. So class 1 steer entering the ring will be Sophia Moracle. Class 2 will be Stephen Barrett. Class 3 will be Stephen Barrett. Class 4 will be Sydney Rober. Class 5 will be Sydney Rober. And class 6 will be Megan Hughes. Those 6 steers enter the ring. properly recognize these class winners. Class 1 was your lightweight winner, Sophia Moracle with a calf that weighed 980. Calf 2, Stephen Barrett won that class with a calf that weighed 1173. Class 3 was also Stephen Barrett with a calf that weighed 1239. Class 4, Sydney Roberts steer weighed 1322. Class 5 was also Sydney Robert weighing 1343. And Class 6 was Megan Hughes steer that weighed 1421.
Let's give all of our market steer exhibitors a big round of applause. Of all the days I thought there'd be Cadillacing up out here, as warm as it's going to get today, I didn't figure today would be the day, but like I told some of the guys around ringside, come to a cattle show. If you think you've seen it all, you haven't. You will see something new. And today's just one of them days where a few of these kids don't want to be show steers, and that's unfortunate. But when we get right down to it, this is a really, really nice set of steers out here in contention for your champion market steer. I'm not going to talk every one of them. I think there's a couple of them in contention for me that put a lot of good together in one single package. There's a lot of give and take, though, as well, when you start to pick these steers apart and find what you want to change about each one of them, what one has over the other, and vice versa. The two that I think are in most contention for me would be the silver steer, the young man's, and the young lady's black steer here towards the back end. Second from the end, those two steers are probably in contention the most for me. The young man's silver steer, really a big, burly, stout-made kind of a steer. Is he a touch moderate in his frame score for me? Sure. I'll give that to you. Do I want to clean him up in his underline ever so slightly? Sure. But that steer does a lot of things good. He's soft at the ground, he's big-legged, he's big-backed, he's big-ended. And when you set him in motion, I think he's sound enough. It's just one of them steers that hits his market ready weight just a little bit quicker due to his frame size. That's not to take away from the steer, it's just something he does different in comparison to a few of the others. The young lady's steer here in front of me now is the other steer that I think is in contention for me today. And again, like I said in class, this steer rose to the top pretty handily for me. Does a lot of things good. Kind of puts a lot of the bells and whistles and extras together in a package that still has a lot of practical build and usefulness about him. He's big enough ended. He's good at the ground. He's really open in the center portion of his body. If I could fix that one, it would probably be at the ground. I want to relax him in his passer. I want to fix him out of his hip back into his tailhead. But that's still a really nice kind of a useful steer that I think sorts himself to the top pretty easily. I'm going to take one last look. I'll go out and find you a champion. We'll take another look for reserve. Again, let's give these kids another big round of applause. Grand Champion Market Steer, shown by Sydney Lorber. Second place in that class was Jackson Filer, which come down to the ring in contention for reserve. Hereford appearing steer comes into contention here in this lineup. And just like I said in class, a nice, useful, practically built kind of steer that just run into a buzzsaw there ahead of him when it comes down to a show steer aspect of the game. And like I said, very practical and useful in his build and type and kind. But to me, this is still a show steer show, a show calf show, and I just want to give him a few more bells and whistles, some pops and pizzazz, that extra added eye appeal and balance from the side. So with that, the young man Silver Steer is going to be a reserve champion steer today.
Reserve champion market steer is run by Stephen Burke. Now taking some pictures for Grand Reserve champion steer. Grand champion steer sponsored by B. Smith Feed and Supply, Brady and Melissa Smith. Reserve champion steer sponsored by the Dick Bowden family, Mike and Stephanie Bowden. I believe we'll now be bringing down the market heifer. We'll be bringing it, so Jamie Benton can bring her heifer down. We will go for Supreme Champion Market Beef with the right to go to the shootout to represent Mills County in Market Beef. So the Supreme Market Beef tray will be sponsored by the Harold Moracle Memorial and Reserve Supreme Market Beef by the Carol Vinton family. So now we should have Jamie and Sid in the ring for champion market beef.
out here for your contention for your supreme market animal. This is, to me, gets to be one of the toughest decisions of the day when it comes to sorting at a calf show of any size, whether it's county fair, a jackpot show, or even a national level. When you start putting market animals of different sexes together and putting them out here and vying for one title, and it really is for all the marbles here. The winner of this one's going to go represent this county in the Best of the Southwest Shootout, a show that I take a lot of pride in myself. I've been on the board for that show since its inception. We got it started, and we really pride ourselves in what we can do for the kids and give those kids another chance to showcase their animals before state fair. We start to break down these two individuals out here that are in contention for champion. Young ladies champion market heifer, one that I think, like I said, in that single class of market heifer, sorted herself to the top really easily for me. One that is just really long from nose to tail, really elegant and fluid on the move, and the young lady gets her part. She paints a really, really good picture from the side too. And would I like to stouten her up at the ground for a market animal aspect? Yes, I would like to give her a shot more foot and a shot more bone. But is she adequate? I think she is. And with that, there's a lot of give and take in her structural soundness and fluidity of movement when you get any bigger bone or bigger footed. This heifer also, when you step in behind her, she surprises you a little bit. When you study her from the side, you think, I don't know if there's quite enough to that one. When you step in behind her, and I once again say she's adequate in her muscle shape. She's big enough in her hip. She's big enough out of her twist and down into her stifle as well. When it comes right down to it, young lady, I don't know who made the decision for you to show on the market heifer show, but if it was mine, I might have put that one in the breeding heifer show because I think she could go both ways. So I understand you're probably in just a little bit of a conundrum there as well, but a really, really nice market heifer to bring out here in contention. Back to the champion market steer. Again, like I said, that young lady and that whole market steer show, she kind of brought a gun to a knife fight, and one that I think sorted himself to his top really easily. That steer paints a heck of a picture from the side. He's long and he's elegant. He's smooth in his lines and he balances up really well. I do like, again, I want to change him out of the rear third of his body, especially when you set him in motion. He gets a little short out of his hip. He gets a little round from his hips to his pins. I want to relax him at the ground on his pasterns when he really set him in motion. But again, a really useful kind of a steer that puts a lot of good together. Let's give these kids another big round of applause. I'll go out and get you a champion overall market animal. bring the young men silver steer, the reserve champion market steer out here in contention for your reserve overall market animal, and one that, again, like I said, in class, you just have to appreciate how much he brings to the table as far as product. The steer's big and burly and square made, stout at the ground. Is he good enough looking for the side? Yes, I think he is good enough looking. Do I want to balance him up, clean him up through that chest floor and into his underline? I sure do, to make him match up better with that champion steer today. But again, just a steer that I like a lot about. I'd like to change some things about him as well. One that I think you kind of gave it away there. He doesn't quite balance up from the side and have that pop and pizzazz. And the eye appeal to match up with the champion steer today. With that being said, young lady with the market at will be reserved.
Reserve champion spring market lead shown by Jamie Vinton. That trade was sponsored by AgriLand FS, with the banner sponsored by the Carroll Vinton family. As soon as we get these pictures taken, we will move on to our breeding heifer classes. And I've been asked to announce if you have an open class bucket calf or open class feeder calf and have not checked in, to check in with Maddie outside the ring. And you got a blue shirt on, you better let us know down here. If you have an open class, please make sure to let us know. We will move right into our Trowbridge heifer class. First, we'll have the Trowbridge heifer class. Looks like there are 7 Trowbridge heifers. They will enter the ring with their mentors. For those of you who don't know, this class has been sponsored and put together by Mary and David Trowbridge over the years. They've got a lot of kids started in the Beef Project this way. So we're definitely thankful to the Trowbridge family for putting the time to teach these kids how to show their calves and present their calves, as well as feeding and everything about the beef project. These are kids that didn't have a chance otherwise to have their own calves. They went out to learn how to show their animal once a week throughout the summer at the Trowbridge farm, and get to show here today. We have a class of heifers, yearling heifers, and a class of baby heifers. So please all make sure to thank the Trowbridge family for the work that they do.
More importantly, we want to thank the Vincents, Keith and Holly Vincent and their family for allowing us to use their facility while we have these kids come to class and learn what to do with their calves. For those of you that don't know the class, these are kids that do not have a beef project or would not have access to a beef project. So they use our heifers. They are obviously not show animals, but they learn how to break them to halter. They learn how to do the things they need to do for showmanship. And then they take care of these animals, wash them, clean them, clip them. The next class will be the same thing. These kids have been in the class for the most part for 2 years. There are a couple of first years in this class, but the next class is our first year kids, and they will be bringing in some baby calves. We also have a bunch of mentors in the ring. Carrie Carr and her husband Jackson are assisting us this year, and hopefully they'll take this class over at some point. And the rest of the mentors have been through the program. They've got their shirts on, and some of them are showing their own cattle at this point.
let's put our hands together out here for these exhibitors. This is really a neat class for me, and one that I've never really seen before. Had definitely not had a privilege to sort through, and it is really interesting and neat to see. Somebody like the Trowbridge family step up and give kids that don't have an opportunity to get on the halter and have a beef project is very cool to me, and obviously a little bit biased. I grew up in the beef industry my whole life and live and breathe it in one way or another every day, and this is just something really special and unique that you guys have, and something that I think you guys should be commended on. We get down into sorting these females. The young ladies heifer that I used to lead off the class, I think for me just balances up from the side and has the most eye appeal and the most structural good about her when you set them in motion. Well, then I think when you visualize all of these heifers and growing up and going into production and becoming mama cows, I think one that to me maybe has a little bit more extra of that show ring look and pop of pizzazz. Not to take anything away from that second place heifer, one that's probably arguably the biggest outline and got the most product in her today, and one that I think just with a little bit more balance and eye appeal from the side probably moves up ahead of her today, but a pair of really good heifers to start out the class. The rest of the females falling out through the rest of the class. Again, like I said, just really good, useful, production-oriented kind of females that can the cows that'll go out and make money for anybody, no matter what section of the seed stock industry or cattle industry, for that matter, you're in. Kind of can be useful and good for all of these kids. And again, let's give these kids another big round of applause. I commend them for coming out here and trying something new.
Champion Trowbridge heifer shown by Hannah Swinford. Hannah Swinford will be presented the champion Trowbridge Farm breeding heifer with a trophy sponsored by Mark and Tammy Epperson family. Once again, they all received purples, so also receiving purples were Sophia Pratt, Charlie McDonald, Frankie Pankovic, Cole Perina, and Blake Palmtag, Hunter Codney. So congratulations to those Trowbridge heifer exhibitors. We'll now move on to the Trowbridge feeder calf class, and there'll be 7 heifer exhibitors there as well. Trowbridge feeder calf class, Autumn Codney, Josh Henderson, Catalina Kelly, Emerson Oliver, Isabella Pankovic, Corbin Dietz, and Jackson Reed.
Let's give all these first-time exhibitors out here a big round of applause. Like I said, in that big effort class, this is a really, really neat deal out here to sort through it. And every one of these kids, I don't know, we'll just ask them a few simple questions about what the name of their camp was, how much they enjoy it, if they want to raise cows, and it's just fun to get out there and hear some of the, hear some thoughts and that from a younger kid that doesn't have the opportunity to grow up on a beef farm and be around it all day, and something that I think myself I take a little bit for granted. And so, like I said, this is a really, really neat class and something that I think this family and our Trowbridge family should really be commended on. Unfortunately for me, I do have to pick a champion. I don't like it because I think every one of these kids is doing an awesome job. Going out there, selecting the camp, getting it broke, getting it here, and so I really think every one of these kids is doing a good job. But there was one kid that said he wanted to raise cows. He doesn't now, but he wants to raise cows when he gets older and bigger, and that kid right there is what we need more of in this town. The young man on that end is going to be your champion.
Congratulations to Jackson Reeves for your champion Trowbridge Feeder Cow. We presented the trophy sponsored by the Trowbridge Cattle, David and Mary Trowbridge. That picture and trophy presented, we'll move on to our small breeds heifer class. We'll have Jordan Wilkenbush with her mini Hereford heifer. We're just going to combine the small breeds heifer and steer, so we will have Jordan Wilkenbush with her heifer and Jaden Wilkenbush with her steer.
two individuals that, again, bringing out two different sexes out here and trying to analyze them makes my job a little bit difficult. But two miniature Hereford calves that are very good in their own type and kind. As far as placing them, we'll just keep them right like they are. The young lady's heifer will be first in class. The young lady's steer will be second. A heifer that I think when you really start to analyze her has a lot of good about her. She's really long from her nose back to her tail. She's good in her feet and legs. She's got enough expression in her muscles. She's opened up in the center portion of her body good enough for me. Could you clean her up to the front 1/3 of her body? Sure, I'll give you that. But I think she is plenty good enough for this stage of the game for that young lady. The young lady's steer going to be coming out in second. A good steer that I think with a little bit more time and feet, maybe by that state fair time. One that I think comes together really, really well. He's got some muscle shape. He's got some pop and pizzazz. Just give him a little bit more time, and I think that dude's going to be in the hunt come state fair time. Congratulations to both those girls.
Champion small breeds, shown by Jordan Wilgenbush with reserve Jaden Wilgenbush with her steer. Now move on to our breeding heifer show. Class of commercial breeding heifers. We have Levi McDonald and Lydia Foods.
Out here to start off your breeding heifer show. I chose to keep them in order just like they come in class. The young lady's gray heifer out here chose to start with. I think just for me, in a balance and eye appeal standpoint, is where she sorts herself to the top for me. I will give you, she carrying a little bit extra condition for me today, sure, but I think that heifer, when you set her in motion, I think that's where she beats the black heifer in second pretty handily. One that once you set her in motion, she really reaches off that front two of her body. She follows and tracks in really well out of her rear two as well. One again that I think if I could peel a little bit of condition back off of her, clean her up through that chest floor, one I'd like a little bit better, but a very useful, practical kind of female. Young man's black heifer here, not wanting to be a show heifer here today, give him a few fits, but again, one that I think you start at the ground, one that I want to free up on both ends of her skeleton to get her any higher for me today. I do appreciate how youthful and fresh she is up through that front 1/3 of her body, but again, starting at the ground, I just want to free that one up off both ends of her skeleton to move her any higher.
Champion commercial heifer shown by Lydia Foos. The second in that class shown by Levi McDonald. So what we got going on now is we have several individual breed heifers, and we're going to announce them as they come in, but they're all going to show together. We have a Angus heifer shown by Jolie Johnston. We also have a limb flex that will be shown by Jamie Vinton, and Simmentals that will be shown by Megan Hughes. So we will have individual breed champion awards that go to the individual breeds. So we're going to combine this all at once so we will now be showing for champion breeding beef. We're going to combine all these into one. So Lydia, your champion commercial, will be coming back. We'll have Jolie Johnston, which would be have your champion Angus. He's in the ring. We'll have Jamie Vinton with her limb flex. We'll have a cow-calf pair shown by Devin Nathaniel. And we will have the Hughes with Simmental. So these will all show for your champion breeding.
Thanks for your help.
Entering the ring now, we've got the cow-calf pair. We've got DJ. We want to wish DJ a happy 14th birthday. We have to tell that, so tell him happy birthday. So just going down the line here, I just want to make sure all these breeding beef exhibitors get recognized. Breeding beef's a real important project, and even though you're only showing as an individual in a lot of these breeds, I want to make sure they're recognized. So Jolie Johnston first with champion Angus. Next to her will be Jamie Vinton with her limb flex. Then we'll have Devin Nathaniel with her champion cow-calf. I believe that's commercial. Then we'll have the champion commercial heifer with Lydia Foos, and then the Simmental champion with Megan Hughes. All of these breed champions will be given an award sponsored by the Montgomery County Corn Growers Association. And your Supreme Champion Breeding Beef tray will be sponsored by the Russell Crouch Memorial Mark and Vicky Longrock. With that banner sponsored by Leroy and Kelly Stortenbecker. Your Reserve Champion Breeding Beef tray sponsored by Stouter Simmentals, Larry and Linda Stouter. With the Reserve banner Breeding Beef by Mark and Julie Shelley. Thank you to all of our trophy and banner sponsors.